So I did a shelf tour. That means I've got plenty of more space now that everything's organized, right? But we're going to talk about them new additions anyways. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another book haul, this time for November of 2022. All kinds of nice new little goodies to add to the home library and talk about today. But before we get into all those nice physical things, guys, let's talk about what we usually do first, and that is, of course, digital purchases. Because what do I always tell you guys? They count. You know that they count, so don't even lie to me. So I did add a few things here. If you saw recently, I did a video about some standalones that I want to do. So I did actually buy a couple of those that I mentioned on there on digital. First up, Snow Crash by Neal Stephenson. Neal Stephenson is an author a lot of viewers have recommended him to me the past few years. And I said, hey, this is a great one to finally go ahead and give a try. Now, I did ask around which one I should try, and Snow Crash was the answer that consistently came up. But after I talked to Moy the other day, I'm beginning to wonder now if I should have just asked him, because he didn't have very good things to say about it. But I'm excited to do it. It does sound like it's the precursor, I think, to like Ready Player One, you know, without just blatant pop culture references all over the place. But again, that comparison might not be apt. That's just what I have been told. Also, another one I had on that list was The Ruins by Scott Smith. Now, it's a horror novel that I remember when the movie came out way, way back in the early 2010s. Might have been even before that. And I saw the trailer, I was like, that's pretty good. And it's also, I said, based off the, the best-selling novel. I was like, oh, I want to read the book first. Then I'll watch the movie. Then I never read the book, and I never saw the movie. So I said, hey, that's a good one. After I talked to Rachel on Shades of Orange recently on Talk About Nothing, I saw it on her shelf, and it really reminded me that I wanted to read that one. So I went ahead and picked it up for the Kindle, and thinks that'll be a really good spooky season read sometime, probably October next year. Nick Cutter was a spooky season author I got into this year with The Troop. Well, I did go ahead and pick up Little Heaven, because I think that's the next book by him that I want to read. A little bit of I kind of got some feedback that maybe it's not quite Western horror as it was kind of sold to me as, but I think it's a 1960s New Mexico. Some mercs go to help out someone whose kid's missing, and well, let's say horror does ensue. So not quite typical Western. It's probably more horror than Western horror. But hey, again, I think when I read what was it, the Cormac McCarthy book that everybody goes crazy about, Blood Meridian, and I said I wasn't really crazy about it. Someone said, hey, maybe you should try Little Heaven. It sounds like your feedback off of that sounds like maybe that's something more that you're interested in. So maybe that's why I drew the connection of it maybe being a little bit of Western in there. But Nick Cutter was an author I'm really, really interested in continuing with. That was going to be the next one. And then also, I did a video recently about new series that I'm going to start in 2023 in permanent ink, meaning it is going to be series that I start without a shadow of a doubt. And one of those was for Robert McCammon, and that is his Matthew Corbett series. And these things are always on sale on Kindle, like always. So I got these first 5 books for $5. I had them for 99 cents a piece. So I went ahead and got all 5 of those. Don't know very much about the series. Judging from the covers, I thought they were pirate books, and everybody's telling me they're not pirate books. I'm like, then why is everybody dressed like pirates on the covers? But I guess I'll find out when I get there. But McCammon's an author who really, really has dominated 2022 for me, and just not really in like quantity as much as quality. You know, I've read 3 books of his this year, and 2 of them were all-timers for me. You know, they're going to be up there as some of my all-time favorites. So obviously, I'm going to give anything that Mr. McCammon does a try eventually. I think he's probably going to be like my new like standalone guy that I kind of read. But I want to make sure that I picked up one of a series as well, because I am going to continue. You know, I still want to do like Gone South, They Thirst. I still want to do some of his standalones too. But I think I will be interested in doing some of his series, and that's why I picked those up on the old Kindle. But guys, let's go ahead and move along to some physical purchases I picked up this month. I know it's what you guys are really interested in. Now, you guys know that if you've watched the channel for a while now, I did all of my Brandon Sanderson Cosmere stuff back in 2020. And Era 2 of Mistborn really wasn't for me. It just wasn't clicking. And when I finished Bands of Mourning, I said, you know what, it was a Shadow Cell. Whichever one was book 3, I said, I don't know. I'm thinking that this just isn't for me. I'm just going to kind of bow out. But guys, I had to get Lost Metal. It just came out. The final book in Mistborn Era 2. Now, while Era 2 may have really like lost me, I wasn't really wild about it. It's still a Cosmere book by Brandon Sanderson. I read all Cosmere books by Brandon Sanderson. So just because I'm not reading release date doesn't mean I'm not going to read it at all. So I imagine sometime next year I'll be picking this up to finish the story of Wax and Wayne and see how that concludes. But yeah, Sanderson release date is usually pretty special. I hate that I missed out on it for the first time in a while. But you know, hey, that's just the way that the cookie crumbles. I did already have some plans. I forgot all about this book coming out, honestly, because I'm not huge into Era 2, so that's my fault. That's why I kind of missed the date on that one, but it will be happening eventually. And I did have to complete that set because I got all of the Mistborn stuff in hardcover, first editions. Let's keep that tradition up. That's what collectors do, right, guys? Like they also, something else they do is they upgrade books that they already have. And I had an edition of the Silmarillion that was, it's not a first edition, but it's a first printing of the book in hardcover, and it's in bad shape. It was the dust cover was torn, the pages starting to were deckled, and they were starting to yellow a little bit. So I was like, I think I can justify getting the brand new illustrated edition that matches, you know, that Lord of the Rings trilogy new edition that a lovely viewer got me. And these all match. I love that this new collections that they're doing with the spines that match and all that. They've got a little bit of black speech on here. This is just really great stuff. I love all. Actually, that's not black speech. What is that? I have no idea. Is that focusing? Can you see what that is? Any Tolkien scholars out there want to tell me what that is if you can actually see it. But the care and love that they're putting into these and the illustrations are really just beautiful. These collections are all great. Silmarillion is on that list of books where I said, you know, books I'd like to try again because the first time I tried to read Silmarillion, it wasn't what I was looking for. You know, it was in high school after I'd finished Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I just, you know, was having a hangover. I didn't know what to do, and I picked this up, and I was like, this feels like I'm reading a Dungeons and Dragons manual. Now, I might be more into that today because I love like Fire and Blood, for example, by George R. R. Martin. I think that's a great history book. This, I remember a lot of stuff like the big events like Fall of Numenor and things like that. But when it comes to like just the everyday history of those first and second age, I couldn't tell you a lot. So I feel like as a huge Lord of the Rings fan, I owe it to myself to revisit that. And what better way to do it than through another beautiful illustrated edition? They continue to knock it out of the park with these collections. And then last up, another series I've not yet begun, but now I feel like I finally can because they've gotten all 3 volumes of these new collections. This, of course, is Elric, and this Volume 3 came out. It's the biggest one. This is almost twice as big as the first 2. It's weird. So I don't know if they fit like everything or if this is just like some extras or what, because it was kind of the end of this collection. There is like one more, I think, is just like poems or something like that. There is one more, but it's not actually called like Volume 4, but it does go with this set, and I'll be getting that one as well. I think that comes out... I think it comes out this week, actually. It comes out, I think, on Tuesday. So, hey, I'll be adding another one of those. But, yeah, anytime I got a chance to get some more cock on the shelves, I'm going to do that, right? I'm 12, guys. It's just like how you can't talk about Philip K. Dick without making the jokes. I can't do that with this one. But, again, Elric is someone that, a character that I'm very interested in getting into. And I hope it does happen next year with these lovely editions that they have continued to put out. And I'm glad now if they have collected them. Because before it was like... It's kind of like when you with Conan, people are like, oh, you can read anywhere. It's like, yeah, but you know, some of us are structured. We need to know a reading order or something like that. So now I feel like I've got that, and I can kind of get into that series. How about some books from some authors, guys? Got some stuff from some independent authors here and self-published that I want to kind of talk about. And what I always say about this is if you are an independent author and you want to send me something, that's great. I have no problems with that. I'm probably not going to have time to read it right now, but if I can help put a spotlight on your work, I'm going to do that for you because I always encourage people to chase their dreams. And if your dream is to become an author and you have to self-publish to get there, hey, I encourage you to do that. And if I can help in this way, I will. First up is I Am Titanium by Denver Rain. This one came without a note, so I don't know if it was from the publisher or from the author, but it looks like the front of a comic book, so very cool idea there. Next up is Crown of the Realm. This is by Deborah Dalton. Again, very cool cover. I was saying that I feel like the covers on these are really getting better because I looked at some of those early things I got from some self-published authors, and it looked like they printed it out on Windows 95 or something like that. Again, guys, if you want to know anything more about these, I'm going to post links down below where you can check them out, or be really nice and give them a nice book Goodreads look up or something like that. I think it'll really help them out. Mouth is a Coven. The Mouth is a Coven by Liz Worth. I think this one is a vampire story. Very cool. So she wrote me a nice note. I do appreciate that, Liz. Very nice of you. And then, of course, this is from Brian King Little. This is called Gretchen. I believe is this a witch's book? Oh, I can't remember. Again, look at the link down below, and it'll tell you what these are about. But thank you guys for sending me these. I do appreciate that. This one does say mature audiences on it, so watch out. Watch out. Watch out, Brian. This one actually is a letter I got from T.S. Becker. He actually sent me a book last month, Fear Extinction. Fear Extinction, I think it's called. He sent me a book last month, so he wanted to send me a letter to say thank you for showing his book, and it's my pleasure to do so. I'm glad. I hope it helped you out just a little bit. Again, guys, I'll tell you my weakness, handwritten letters. I love them. I can't get enough of them. I think that they're just, nothing is more personal in today's day and age, the digital age, where we want to do everything instantaneously. We don't want to take the time to do something as simple as put pen to paper and put a stamp on something and drop it in our mailbox. The fact that someone will actually take that time out of their day to do that for me, right here, I appreciate everything about that. It's just beautiful. I never can get enough of it. So there you go. So thank you, Mr. or Mrs. Becker. I'm not really sure with TS. I'm not really sure which it is, but thank you for doing that. How about some from publishers? I got my usual mailer from Bay and Books. I haven't opened it yet. I forgot to open it before I started this. I guess I could open it on the camera with you guys. Consider this an unboxing, or is it an unbagging, an unlettering, unenveloping? So Bain does continue to send me these because they're awesome, and I love them. And one thing about them is, guys, if I know that you're probably thinking, Mike, you don't have time to read any of these. You're probably right. You're probably right. I always continually say that I'm never going to stop reading, and I'm eventually going to have things where I can try out some things. I don't imagine I'm going to be a booktuber forever. You know, I'm eventually going to want to just start buckling down and actually reading, and I'll have a lot more time in my hands. That's not an announcement or anything. It's just try not to drop this everywhere. Okay, but let's look at some of them. Simon R. Green, nice hardcover there. That's one I have heard of. I think that might actually be a new one. They'll send me some things that are old. They'll send me some stuff that actually isn't even out yet. Michael Z. Williamson and Charles F. Gannon. Again, I'm trying not to let them fall out of my lap here. That's why I can't show them to you both at the same time. This is fun. This is fun. And then, of course, we have Les Johnson. Think about these sci-fi books, man. Their covers are always just slamming. Then we got John Van Stry, and then a nice collection edited by Chris Verrocchio. You might have heard of him. Yeah, so Bain is awesome. Like I said, I might not have time to read these right now. A big thing about this, I have tons of friends who love to read just standalone sci-fi books, and I give a lot of them away to those guys, and a lot of them I have donated to libraries. I've made a donation to the Harris County Jail, and I was told by the person who received those books there that the inmates have really appreciated that he sees them reading them all the time, and that's awesome. That's great. I feel like, you know, Andy Dufresne or something, except I'm on the outside instead of the inside, but getting books to inmates in the jail. And it's really great because I'm sure those people there are wanting to spend a little time in worlds outside of their own and visit the stars a little bit. Could be quite fun. But I did get some things from you lovely, amazing viewers this month. Let's take a look at those right quick. First up, April. I believe that she sent me Lonesome Dove and Dead Man's Walk. Well, she sent me a third book in that universe. This is Comanche Moon. Now, I know I did say recently that I counted Lonesome Dove as a standalone because I wasn't really sure I was ever going to read the prequel or sequel novels. But if Lonesome Dove is half as good as everyone that has read it recently tells me, I'm sure I'm probably going to be missing those characters, and I'm going to want to revisit things, you know, as some of their younger selves. So April has sent me 3/4 of the series now, I believe. I believe that was her that sent it to me. So thank you so much, April, for continuing. And it seems that this world is very, very important to you, and I can't wait to dip in Lonesome Dove. Finally, in 2023. I did a video over on A.R. Witham's channel. If you don't know, A.R. Witham is the author of The Legend of Blackjack and an all-around great human being. So I had a video over there, and he had some things where he had my wife submit some mystery questions. And one of the topics that came up on it was about our relationship getting together right around the time that the last Harry Potter book was coming out. And I talked about how, like, both of us had the all 6 hardcovers of the Harry Potter books, and I went and got that 7th book, and how she read mine and she never got her own. And I told that in that story, I said, I always look in the used bookstore and I say I'm going to get her one just to complete her set, even though I've got a complete set. You know, she can use it at any time, just to say it was complete, right? And I've just never actually done that. Well, I had two people sent me copies of Deathly Hallows this month for her. So I can't say that you guys don't pay attention to what I'm saying, especially if I'm on another channel. Apparently, one is from Madison, one of my moderators, my co-host of House of the Dragon and all that stuff, Throne Zone. So thank you, Madison, really, really great. And the other one is from Jesse. So thank you guys for sending these. Now we have an extra one. Now I've got to go get the first 6 to complete a hardcover set for my kids. No, I'm kidding. But this is very, very special, guys. Thank you. And your letters were very, very kind. I do appreciate that. And she did appreciate it as well. So now we have an extra Deathly Hallows in case one breaks down. This is one that I know that some people will think is controversial because BookTube, for some reason, considers him a controversial author. I don't care about any of that stuff. Terry Goodkind, Wizard's First Rule. I have a lot of people ask me a lot. Have you ever? Why don't you talk about Terry Goodkind? I've never read him, guys. I don't know. I think I read a Sword of Truth book like when I first got into fantasy, and I broke into my brother's bedroom, and I found out later that it was like a book 4 or something, but I have no memory of it. I don't even remember if I finished it. So I can't say for sure I've never read Terry Goodkind. I just don't recall. So this is actually from Valerie, who looks like she sent me her personal copy. So that means a lot to me. So thank you so much. Don't have plans right now, guys, but it's like, for example, I put out my top 10 fantasy books, my updated list this year, and so many comments are like, how can you have a top 10 list and not have Terry Goodkind on it? And then it starts a big fight because Terry Goodkind's trash. And I'm just like, it's kind of like I said with Terry Brooks. I was like, I really wish people would stop slandering some of these big time fantasy authors. It's just not cool. It's just not cool. But again, I have no actual feedback for the content here, just going off of what I've heard. But Valerie, thank you so much for sending this to me. I appreciate it. Then I got 3 books this month from one of my patrons, Kellen, and you are a madman, but I love you to death. Thank you so much. It's really, really kind of you to do this. But I did talk about those standalones that I said I wanted to read this year, and he sent me 2 of them that I had on that list, and I didn't actually have physical copies of. First is Fever Dream by George R. Martin. It's going to be my first time stepping outside the world of Ice and Fire when it comes to George Martin. And, anytime you're dealing with, Louisiana vampires, in the 1700s, that makes me think Anne Ricey stuff. And I think I could deal with George R. Martin writing something like that. But mixed reception of this, but most people say this book is awesome. So I'm excited to check out some stuff from George that isn't in Westeros. And, of course, Guy Gavriel Kay's Tigana is the one that I picked. Finally getting into GGK next year, and Tigana was a book I picked because it sounded the most fantasy, and I said there aren't enough fantasy standalones. That's the reason that I picked that one. So Kellen sent me both of those, as well as the newly released Fall of Numenor from the same company as I was talking about earlier that's making these really awesome ones. Now, this one doesn't have anything cool on the edges, but still, it's really, really awesome. The illustrations in here are kick-ass. I saw an actual interview with the artist of this stuff, and it's very cool. It's like you get so used to, you see an Alan Lee painting and you immediately think, hey, that's Lord of the Rings. And it continues to be here. And it's just so cool that they're putting these awesome collector's editions together where everything finally matches. It's like they realize that Tolkien fans are some of the biggest book collector nerds out there, and they want to keep doing that. But Kellen, you are a role model, my friend. Thank you so much. And then I got something secret, guys. I got something. We do a Secret Santa on my Discord every year, and I'm so bad at it. When I send something my Secret Santa, I actually sign my name. That's the point, Mike. You're not supposed to let them know that it's from you. The person that drew my name apparently did it right, because I don't know who it's from, but they did send me 3 books, which is really, really awesome. The Deep by Nick Cutter, another one that is on my probably. I would say Little Heaven, The Troop, and The Deep are the 3 that kind of rotated as to which ones I was going to do. I chose The Troop first. I decided not to do The Deep next just because mixed things. But now that I've heard some feedback on Jaime over at the horror show, my Stephen King side, he actually told me that he feels like this is like a mix of like The Abyss and Deep Star 6. That's 2 movies I love, man. But reading the synopsis, it sounds very much like Sphere from Michael Crichton. So that sounds really, really awesome. So yeah, that will actually be happening eventually. I don't know about this year, but thank you, Secret Santa. Secret Santa also sent me Volume 3 of the Otherland Saga. Now, that's the one that I said I was going to be doing before I went back to Ocean R. The next Tad Williams I would do would be Otherland, but it was one of those that just missed the cut for a new series in 2023, so that'll be happening down the road. So I've still got time to get Volume 4 of that, and then, of course, the last book in the Skyward Trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. This is Tonic. So thank you, Secret Santa. You are awesome. I do appreciate it so much. And I don't know if we're actually going to reveal who those are eventually or not. I don't know. I don't know how that works. But hey, if you guys want to participate in Secret Santa Discord, why don't you go ahead and join, and you can join next year's maybe, because we've already kind of done this year's. But yeah, anytime you guys want to jump on the Discord, talk about anything at all, we would love to have you. Got a couple of random things here kind of want to talk about. I got a couple cards. First, I got a late Halloween card. Now, this is probably my fault because I will check the Big Ben, but I'll never actually check the post office box. So I don't know if that got there late or if I just picked up late. But Gina, thank you. Very, very nice to send me a Halloween card. I appreciate it. Favorite time of the year. I talked about it in an individual video. I got a letter from Thomas, is the founder of the band Nightwish, which is one of my favorite rock bands in the world and one of my favorite rock bands of all time for 25 years or so. So the fact that the founder of Nightwish watches the channel completely blew me away. And like I said, I did a complete video about just that and what that meant to me as a fan of that band. To get a letter from that guy, just it means everything. It's just super amazing because I feel like that guy has given me so much entertainment over my life. If I gave him 5 minutes of entertainment, it's not enough. But it's amazing. It's amazing that I was able to actually like register on someone like that's radar. That's really, really amazing. But he is a big fantasy book fan. I think he's even done a song about Kid Killer Chronicles. So his publicist actually like reached out to me recently, and I don't know if we're going to maybe talk in the future or something. I don't know. I don't want to get ahead of myself there, but it's very exciting times. Like I said, anytime you can kind of get something from one of your personal rock heroes, that's just awesome. That's just a really awesome thing, and that's why I talked about it in that video there. This one's kind of interesting. Dirty Dick's hot sauce. Doug sent this to me. He said he hopes it spices up my holidays. So look, guys, I'm in Texas. Things can never get hot enough for us. We got a lot of those Cajun Louisiana folks that kind of come over and they're like, "Oh, that's not hot. Check this out." They'd like to make things hot enough to where basically see how hot they can get something without actually killing you by swallowing it. So it's really, really awesome that he thought that I would enjoy some nice hot sauce. Keto friendly too, guys. Yeah, hot sauce is keto friendly, so excited for that. I think this one was it might have been an actual accident. Dustin from Paper, he makes these this card game, Paper Bag Dungeon. He sent this to me before because my kids actually played like their kind of makeshift Dungeons and Dragons on it. But I mean, thank you. I don't know if this is like a version 2 or anything like that. It looks exactly the same, so I haven't opened it yet. But thank you. I'm sorry if you didn't know you had already sent this to me, or if you thought maybe I wanted a second set. But I do appreciate it. Thank you for thinking of me. And that's all I got, guys. That's all I got this month. So yeah, another exciting month. Obviously, I do appreciate everything that you wonderful, wonderful guys and gals have sent to me this month. It means the world to me that you would think of me in that way. But I would be interested in knowing what you guys got this month. Why don't you drop in the comments and let me know some of the things that you added to the home library for November, and tell me when you're going to be making your bookshelf tour. I can't wait to see it. So that's all I got, guys. Have a great, great week.